Hey, what's up, everyone? Thank you for checking out this training today. I'm glad that you could join us. Today, we're going to be talking about the easiest way to set up equipment without wasting a bunch of time and money. I know this is a lot of problem with a lot of people is deciding on what kind of equipment to choose and not having the money to spend on equipment, especially when you're first starting out. And so I just wanted to go ahead and do a quick little training. This is a question I got asked recently, and I figured I'd go through and give you some of my thoughts on this, and hopefully it helps you out and provides value for you. So just real quick, if you haven't been on one of these trainings before, if you're watching this a replay of this, I just want to give you a quick little guide as to how this training will go. I'll do 30 to 45 minutes of value where I'll just help you out and explain my processes and the way that I look at this going forward. And then we'll do additional time at the end for any Q&A. And so if you come on these calls live every Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern time or 10 a.m. Mountain time, you have time afterwards to ask any questions that you may have. And so they can be anything regarding online course creation, marketing, sales, it doesn't matter, but bring your questions on the call and I'll be happy to answer them. So if you could just go ahead and take a moment to turn off any distractions that you have. So put your phone on silent, on airplane mode, close the doors, close the windows, put the kids to bed, whatever you have to do to just get rid of any distractions that you have at this moment. Just give me your full attention. I want to respect your time, and I would ask you to do the same for me. And it will give you the most benefit if you just clear out all of those distractions now so that we can focus on this for the next hour or so and hopefully help you out. So a little bit about me, if you don't know who I am, if you're watching this for the first time and we haven't met, nice to meet you. My name is Jeremy Deegan. I'm the host of the Online Course Igniter podcast. This is a podcast where I interview successful online course creators. I've had people making anywhere from a couple $100s to millions of dollars with online courses. And so what I do is I interview them and I ask them their story. I ask them about strategies that's working for them and that they're implementing. And it's a great time to just talk to people and find out what else is working out there in the marketing world. And so I have a very great insight of not only the things that have been successful for me, but also I get to talk to these great people and find out what's working for them. And it's given me a lot of insight into this world of online courses. And I would like to relay that information to you the best that I can. So this presentation is basically for anyone who struggles with figuring out all of the tech that's involved in recording. And I know that this is a major problem because it was a major problem for me. I am a perfectionist by trade. I come from a production background. I used to do audio, video, and lighting for bands, for concerts, theaters, conferences, just you name it. I probably had my hand doing some type of video, lighting, or audio in those industries. And so when I got into this world of online courses, I really spent a lot of time going through and figuring out the equipment, spending a lot of time perfecting the craft, getting really good at it. And I'm a perfectionist. And so I know what goes into trying to figure out all of the equipment and everything that is involved in recording an online course. And I've learned a lot along the way, and I want to show that to you. So are you someone who needs help simplifying the production of your video courses? If creating videos for online courses is something that you're struggling with, go ahead and let me know in the chat below or let me know in the comments. I am actively reading those. And so I'd be happy to look at those and just see, raise your hand, say, yes, I struggle with my videos and with production, and I really would like a simplified process. Let me know in the chat now. So the goal of this presentation is to show you how you actually don't need fancy equipment to create an online course, to explain to you how you can use everyday objects to actually boost the production quality of your videos, things that you might not realize that you have lying around the house or access to that can help you, and show you why you don't need a large budget to buy a bunch of unnecessary equipment, which I know this is a big problem for a lot of people, is if you're just starting out, you might not have a large budget if you're bootstrapping, trying to create an online course. So let me ask you a question. How much would you be able to get done if you had an easier setup to get your videos recorded? If you didn't have to worry about doing research, finding out what equipment you need, hooking up the equipment, setting it up, how much more of an impact would that make in your day-to-day operations? Would that affect you? Would you free up some time to focus more on your actual course or helping people? Let me know in the comments if that's something that would benefit you if you had access to a way of knowing how you can have an easier setup to record your videos. Okay, so Crystal's talking about struggling with being the face of the video and getting just the voice done on the courses. Yeah, Crystal, at the end, if you want to ask that question, I will be more than happy to do a Q&A, and we can go a little bit into that. I didn't cover it in this training, but because I do the Q&As at the end, I want to get your questions answered. So just go ahead and let me know at the end that that's your struggle, and I'll make sure that I come back around to that and help you out. Awesome. Very cool. Okay, very good. Let's move forward. So, would you like to learn the simple process I use to create videos without stressing over equipment? Let me know in the chat if this is something that you're interested in. I like to gauge interest and see, where are people at? And so if you have stressed over equipment before, let me know. All right. So let me tell you a little bit about myself. This is not my studio. This is a picture I found online, but this represents what I felt like I had in my house. And there's actually quite a few pieces of equipment here that I actually did have in my house. I lived in a house in Florida, and we had an extra bedroom, and it wasn't real big, but it was a pretty decent sized bedroom type living area. And we converted that into an office, and I had a bookshelf and my desk and my computer, and I started buying equipment because I figured, you need to have equipment. It needs to look good. You need to have high production quality. And so I started buying some of these lights that you see here that are pictured. I had backdrops just like the one that you see pictured here. I even had drapes. So not these big drapes that they have if you look on the sides of the image, but I did have drapes as a background. So I had drapes, I had backdrops, I had different backdrops. I actually had 3 or 4 backdrops, all the stands. I had about 4 different lights. I had bunches of microphones. I had an audio mixer, cables everywhere. It looked like a bird's nest in my room. And again, I come from this industry. I know what every single piece of equipment in this photo does. I know what it's for. And that was me. And I enjoy like messing around with equipment. And I spent a lot of time going through and setting all this equipment up. Then something changed in my life. To this day, roughly 3 years ago or so, we decided that as a family, we were going to travel. And so my wife and the kids, we packed up everything we could fit in the back of a trunk. We sold about 90% of everything out of our house, and we headed out west. And we have been traveling for about 3 years now. Now, I don't have pictures of the kids here, but you can see pictures of me and my wife in various locations. We're at Niagara Falls. We're in the woods of West Virginia. We're in the beaches of Florida, Arizona, Montana. And you can see here that we have been all over the country traveling for the past 3 years. And a large part of that is because of the revenue that I have made from my online business, which is why I recommend anyone get into this industry, because you can really do a lot. And it has really given us a lot of financial freedom, the freedom to pack up and move, travel, and do the things we've always wanted to do. However, I ran into an issue as I was traveling, and that was I couldn't take my studio with me. I couldn't pack up all those lights and all those microphones and mixers. I ended up selling and getting rid of it. Some stuff I even gave away to friends just because I had to leave. And I was like, look, I don't have time to mess with this. Just take it and go. So I realized that I was going to have to scale down my business. I was going to have to find a minimal way to still create videos, to create courses, to create value for people. And I had to figure out how I was going to do that. And so what I did was I actually ended up figuring out how to put everything that I needed for my business in a backpack. You will see that this is an image of this training. I actually just took this image about 30 minutes ago as I was sticking the images in the slides. And that backpack right there is a backpack that has been with me for about 3 years. Swiss Army, I love the company, and it contains everything that I need to run my business. So I took everything from my studio and basically compacted it down into a backpack. And in that backpack holds my laptop, it holds stands, it holds a microphone I use. I actually have two of them. It holds notebooks, it holds additional cables, my headphones, and things like that. But basically, I took thousands and thousands of dollars worth of camera and lighting and audio gear and condensed it down into a small backpack. And now when I travel, this is all I need. I take this with me and I'm able to do a training like this. As you can see, the videos look good. I'm able to still keep up the production quality. And I don't know how many of these training videos you have watched, but you'll notice that the background is different because we actually just moved into a different house. We've been traveling and we moved to a different house. And so it doesn't matter where I am in the world. I have my business with me in a backpack and I can take that with me wherever I go. So I had to figure out, how was I going to do this? How was I going to take everything that I needed and get it down into a place where I could still have decent enough quality and it still sound good? Now I want to ask you a quick question. How does it sound? How does the video look? Are you getting value from it? And that's what I really want you to think about. I'm not in some big giant production studio with fancy gear and fancy equipment. I have the basics and I still think it looks and sounds pretty good. I may be wrong. Let me know. So what I realize is that people are more interested in the value you provide than the production quality of your videos. Crystal says, you always look professional and your voice is very good too. Thank you. I appreciate that. I want to restate this sentence and I want you to pause and think hard about what I am saying. I realize that people are more interested in the value you provide than the production quality of your videos. And we're going to talk about what kind of production quality you need to have here in a moment, but nothing is more important than the value, than the transformation your student gets, than the results you get your students. That needs to be the overarching focus of everything that you do with your online course. If you have an hour to research a DSLR camera or an hour to figure out how you're going to get your student a result better, spend the hour on helping your student and forget researching. Now, listen, I'm a perfectionist. I have spent hours upon hours of my life researching equipment. I know it's fun. I know it's entertaining, but it does not help your business. And furthermore, it's just something that really is unnecessary. And I figured that out. I've been doing this for about 8 years now, and I figured that this is more important. It's more important to get your student a result and help them than what the quality of your video. Now, you need to have a minimal quality, and we'll talk about that, but this is most important. This is probably the most important slide out of all the slides. That's why I'm waiting and reinstating it different ways, because I want you to read that. The value you provide is more important than the production quality of your videos. So would you like to learn how to provide value to your students while keeping your costs and stress levels down when recording videos? So if this is something you're interested in, go ahead and let me know in the chat or in the comments, wherever you're watching this. Hopefully you do. Otherwise, you probably wouldn't be here. Okay. So first thing I want to talk about is to use what you got. Okay. I went from using a full studio to minimal equipment that I could carry in my backpack. So I talked about that a moment ago. So in that backpack, that includes a laptop, a USB microphone, a phone stand, a ring light, and cables. That's it. Most of you already have what you need on hand. And so there are a couple things that maybe I didn't mention, but my laptop it's actually my wife's laptop from school like 10 years ago. I'm still using the same MacBook Air. My iPhone, I've had an iPhone for 8-9 years. I've always had an iPhone. So these aren't things that I bought for the business. I mean, I use them for the business, but they're just things that I already had. I was already using. Okay. And so the only things I really had to purchase was like a light to make it look decent. And honestly, these ring lights, I actually got 2 because I got another one recently. I didn't even use ring lights for a long time. I would just find good light, where I could sit somewhere, and we'll talk about this, and have good lighting. It was only until recently I was like, well, let me get a ring light or two. They're very cheap. They're very small and thin and compact, and I can take them with me. One I can't put in my backpack. I have to carry with me. But basically, you don't need a lot. And you probably have most of this stuff on hand. Do you have a smartphone? Do you have an iPhone? Do you have a computer? You might need to get a microphone. That's usually one of the first things I suggest to people, because people typically will be okay with like the video and the lighting not being great. If the audio is a problem, then they typically will turn off, because the auditorial part, the part where you're providing value and talking, is important. Unless you're doing something that is very visual and the video is just so poor. But I mean, nowadays, like, laptop cameras, even the camera on this 10-year-old MacBook is still decent enough. The iPhone camera, I use my iPhone for video. I'm on my iPhone right now shooting this. So I'm not using a DSLR camera or a point and click. I'm using my iPhone. I've spent money trying to make my videos look pretty, but now on the complete opposite perspective and trying a very simple voiceover PowerPoint. Perfect. That's awesome. Yeah, that's what you want to do. Simplify, simplify, simplify. Okay. So use what is already in your possession, and only buy the minimum of what is required. The most important thing to keep in mind is to provide exceptional value to your student and have enough quality so it's not a distraction. So I'm in the middle of recording more podcast episodes, and I just interviewed a guy 2 days ago, Lucas Marino, great guy, really awesome. And we talked about common mistakes that course creators make when starting out. This discussion came up. And so in this discussion, we were talking about, what is the minimum quality? And he said something profound that he really liked. Hold on, let me just make sure that when people are coming in, they aren't muting themselves. Okay. Some people are popping in here. Nice to see you guys. So this came up, and he made a very profound statement. He said, the quality of your course needs to be just enough to where it's not a distraction. So if the lighting is a distraction, you might need to make your lighting better. If the audio is a distraction, usually the first thing to go to bother people is the audio, then you might need to buy something to make it a little better. If your video is a distraction, then you might need to make that better. But other than that, you need to do the minimum. You don't have to go and buy fancy equipment and then worry about depth of field and focus and a 3-point lighting system and these fancy microphones with mixers. You can do that later on, but start making money in your business first. I see too many people, myself included, more worried about spending money on equipment than trying to figure out how to make more money in their business. And that's what you should figure out first. Go make a 6-figure business and then go buy some fancy equipment. But until then, you don't need to focus on that. It's one of the last things you should be focused on. That's kind of the overall arching point of this whole presentation, is like, you don't need crazy expensive equipment. You can start off with a camera, a cheap microphone, maybe a ring light, and you're good. Go with it. Don't stress out over this stuff, man. Too many people are worried about, oh, what equipment do I get? What platform do I get? You're asking the wrong questions. Okay. So do you see how just using just what is needed will save you time and a headache? So hopefully I've shown you that. Hopefully I've shown you that if you just use what's in front of you and what you have, your iPhone, your laptop, maybe purchase 1 or 2 small things. We'll talk about that here in a moment, but using that will save you time and headache. I used to spend days. If I calculated how much time I spent researching equipment, it would probably amount to weeks, because I would sit in front of the computer and I would look at all the microphones and all the lighting and all the video, and then I'd buy it and I'd hook it up and test it. And it would take time because you got to set everything up. And when you go hit record, you got to check everything. And dude, I don't do any of that anymore. I just hook up 1 or 2 pieces that I need. I hook up my phone and my microphone and maybe a light, and boom, I don't have to sit here and stress about stuff. I've removed the stress out of my life because I'm not worried. And even now, I just had a conversation with my wife just right before this. I was like, I'm ready to simplify some more. I'm ready to figure out an easier way, because even these 3 little things, takes about 30 minutes. And I'm trying to figure out how can I do this better, faster, quicker, so that I can get to the result of the student, how I'm providing value to help people. Okay, everyday objects. So you may be wondering, but how do I get good quality quality using just what is available. So everyone's like main way to think about this is, you know, if I buy expensive equipment, it's going to give me great quality. Well, something that you don't realize is that that really fancy equipment has a million settings on it. And by using those settings, you can actually like end up not getting good quality. You could change the frame rate, you can change the depth of field, you can change the f-stop, the aperture. All these things can actually detract from the quality of what you're producing. And so you may be wondering, well, like I still want to have good quality. So how can I have good quality? And the way that we do that is just to use what's around you and try to find ways to use what's available to you. So I'm going to give you some examples, but there are many ways to boost the production with items that are laying around the house. So for instance, I already mentioned this, your smartphone. There's no real reason to have to buy a DSLR or a point and click video. Yes, they look nice. Yes, they're fancy. Yes, they can give you a nice shallow depth of field where the background looks blurry and the person in the front looks clear. But honestly, would me having a DSLR video camera stop you from watching this and gaining value? I mean, probably not. Like, if I didn't tell you that I was using an iPhone, you would have no idea what kind of camera I'm using. You only know because I told you. But use your iPhone, like use your smartphone, or if it's an Android or a camera that you already own. Don't spend a bunch of wasted time going and trying to find a bunch of equipment that is completely unnecessary. Again, as you make money and you want to upgrade and you want to boost the production quality, that's fine. But that shouldn't be your focus in the beginning, or it shouldn't ever be your focus, but especially in the beginning, if you're starting out, these are not the things that you should be worried about. Let's talk about this one. This one is a very cool trick. I learned this early on and try to utilize it as much as possible. Now, you can't always utilize this trick, but you can as often as you can. So video quality is generally based on lighting. So a lot of people think that video is really the quality comes from the camera, which is true. You got to have a decent camera, but you can have one of the best cameras in the world. And if the lighting is not good, it will not look good. So it's actually the lighting that actually really dictates how well your video quality is going to be. And generally speaking, the more light that you have, the stronger the light source, the better the video quality will actually look. And so one of the best, easiest tricks you can ever do for good video is to record in front of a window. And I know this isn't always possible. I've been in places where I wasn't able to do this, but if you can find a way to get in front of a window, you will have the best lighting because nothing is brighter than the sun. So this is why if you take your smartphone and you record a video inside and then you go outside and record a video and you compare them, the outside video is going to look 100 times clearer, cleaner, more crisp, more vibrant. The colors are better because what happens is the camera or the phone adjusts to the lighting source. And so what happens is if you're outside, it's super bright. And the camera can use that and be like, okay, I have plenty of light. I'll bring it down into a level where people can see it and it's nice and clear. When you go inside and it's dark, what happens is the camera is now fighting to get light. And sometimes it's even doing tricks. It's doing algorithms to try to adjust the light to make it look better. So you don't want to ever try to bring the light up. You want to go to where it's very bright and bring it down. If you can record your videos outside, you're going to have the cleanest looking videos ever. But most people don't want to do that. They want to do their videos inside. Well, that's fine. Go to a window, and that's going to give you the best light source possible. I'm in a room right now. This is a new house. I'm still trying to figure out where the best place to record is, but I have these two giant windows right here that are illuminating. You can probably see them in the background. There's a reflection back there, and you can see those two windows if I go like this. And I also added a couple ring lights I like kind of a warm kind of color. So I put them on this warm color. You can probably see it like there in the reflection. So it adds a nice little warm glow that it's just personal preference. But the window is such an easy trick. When I learned that, I was like, oh, this is genius. Like you don't have to buy lights. If you have a great place like a sunroom or a place where your desk is in front of a window and you can record, I mean, that's you don't need anything else. You're fine. That's going to look good. Here's another trick that's really cool. One of the best places to record, and this might be for you, Crystal. If you're, especially if you're not like on camera, if you're just doing like a voiceover or slides or something like that, or even like if you're just showing your hands, is the closet. So audio really has a problem when there's a lot of echo and reverberation. Now, this is basically when there are hard surfaces. Actually, right now, this room is not the best place to record because I can hear, I'm not even listening through speakers or anything, but I can hear my voice bouncing off the room. So there's a real flat door next to me. I have these windows. There are some curtains over them, but there is some exposed window up there. There's a flat door over here. I have a hardwood floor that there's no carpet, there's no rug on. And I have this big bookcase behind me that is flat and mirrors. Mirrors are like the worst. So what's happening is when I talk, when I speak, my sound waves go and they hit these flat surfaces and they bounce in directions and they hit another wall and they bounce off and they're bouncing all around the room. So if you were to listen to this audio and go listen to a training I did probably last week when I was in a different room, you'll notice that there's more echo in this room. So I haven't treated this room. I haven't done anything. I just like kind of the way it looked and I like these windows, but it's not the best for audio because the audio is bouncing everywhere. So one of the things that you can do is you can go in your closet and record. You will not have any better audio quality in your life than if you go record in your closet, because what happens is all of these clothes soaks up those waveforms from your voice. So when you speak, it goes into the fabric of the clothes and is absorbed. It doesn't bounce and reverberate around the room. And so the actual best audio that you could ever do, like if you have a podcast or you don't have to be on camera, or maybe you're just recording your hands and no one's going to see the background, is to go in your closet and record. And now in this picture, they have a hardwood floor, which I would probably lay a rug down or something just to soak up that too. But that closet right there is going to sound magnificent. Like honestly, you go in that closet and record some audio or a podcast and it's going to sound fantastic. So again, it's all about, she says, this is good, I can do this. Yeah, it's all about thinking about ways that you can utilize what you have available. And what can you do to just help out, thinking through some of these things? So let's say that you want to record in your office and there's some great lighting and windows, but you do have hardwood floors and you do have flat walls and it's echoey. What can you do? Well, maybe you can hang some things up. I've actually myself and have seen other people hang curtains or blankets up on the walls. If you don't have a rug, throw a blanket on the floor if it's a hardwood floor. If you can take and pin up blankets on the walls, or you can buy like some cheap stands or, you know, something cheap that you could like just hang up like a curtain or a blanket or something and put that around the room. Those blankets will actually help absorb some of that sound if it's bouncing around. Hardwood floors and blank walls are the worst thing. So the more stuff you put in your room, if you put a bunch of flowers and knickknacks and things, it helps break up those waveforms or absorb them. But the worst thing that you can have is what I'm in right now, like solid flat walls all around me. So what I would do is I would get a rug and I would put it on this floor. I would, you know, maybe get some curtains, or I'd find something that I could put in the room that will kind of absorb some of these walls and some of the sound along these walls. This is why people use soundproofing foam. This is taking it a next step further. Like, again, we're trying to talk about keeping it simple, but they make these little foam panels. You've probably seen them before. They're like a foot by a foot or 2 feet by 2 feet. And you can pin those up on the wall, and they're foam. And so it helps absorb the sound. So if you ever see like a podcasting studio, you'll notice these foam panels on the wall. They're doing that because they're trying to absorb the audio quality. So what can you do? What you have available with you that you can use to help out the production of your quality? Hopefully that gives you some ideas. Emily says, even on a dark, cloudy day, the light from my window is enough to record videos. I don't turn on the lights. Exactly. Yeah, definitely. It's kind of cloudy right now. And I do have 2 low ring lights here set up, but it's pretty cloudy outside. But even if I turn these off, I mean, the audio quality would still be good. I don't know. You probably can't see me real well. I think the picture's kind of small. But if I turn these off, the camera will adjust. It's a little darker, which is why I put those in, but still, this is fine. No one's going to look at this video and be like, oh my gosh, I can't see Jeremy. He has a little hairline shadow on his face. Like, if I'm providing good value and I'm making you like millions of dollars, are you really going to care that this ring light is not on? Not at all. So that's the point. Focus on the value. Don't get stressed out. Don't stress out about the quality. See, I just like it gives a nice little glow, but unnecessary. So you can use items readily available to you and still get great looking videos. Okay, so let's talk about being under budget. And this is what I think everyone strives for, right? You want to save money. So the best part of all this is that you can do it relatively cheap. I spent thousands of dollars on my studio buying light stands, microphones, mixers, etc. Literally thousands of dollars. I had some of the best lights. I had one of the best mixers. I had tons of microphones. I had stands, cables, adapters, just all the things that go into recording. I mean, it was crazy, and I spent a lot of money. Other than my laptop and my phone that I use every day anyways, I don't really see those as purchasing new items because whether I had this business or not, I'm probably going to have a laptop and my phone. My costs are very low. So here is just some quick examples. So I use this thing. This has been one of my newest favorite gadgets. I love this thing. This is the Atom Tech Selfie Stick. This is actually what is holding my phone up right now, so I can't show it to you. So I grabbed a picture. But what this is, it's a little tiny stick, like a selfie stick. It's probably about a foot long, maybe 10 inches. Like, it's not that big. It's not too round, maybe the size of a $50. And you can hold it in your hand. I can stick it in my pocket, like it's so small. And it extends into a selfie stick, which you can see here. So you can actually extend it out. If like I take it with my, when we go out and take pictures, some of those pictures at the beginning of this presentation was taken on this thing. It has a Bluetooth remote. I don't use it right now, like when I'm recording, but it is fun to have when I'm with the family and I want to take some selfies. It Bluetooth to my iPhone, and I can hold it. It's, the phone's real far away. I hit the button and it takes a picture. That's really cool. But what it does is it actually folds into a little tiny tripod. If you look at that picture on the left, it will fold out into a tripod, and it's not fully extended in this video, but you can extend it the full, I don't know what it is, like 2 or 3 feet. So it's not big enough to put on a floor and extend all the way up to my face level, but I can stick it like on a table or on a bench or something like that. And it's just super versatile. You can turn the phone in portrait mode or landscape mode, horizontal or vertically. And so it's great if you're doing like, TikToks or Instagram reels or Facebook stories, or if you're recording horizontal for like an online course. $26. I have 2 of them. What's really cool too is the one that I bought. There's 2 versions. I don't think it's this version. It might be, but there's one that actually has a little threaded pin at the top. And so you can actually attach more stuff to it. So you can put a microphone on top of it if you have an adapter, or you can do a ring light. So I have 2. I've actually got one of these sticks holding my phone up, and another one is actually holding my ring light up. So the ring light came with the stand, but I like this one better. So I bought a second one. But literally, one of these, $26. This is the microphone that I have used for the past 8 years since I've been on business. I have the original microphone from the original course that I created. It's the microphone I do my podcast on. It's a microphone I do these videos on. I've tried microphones. I've bought mixers. Yes, they sound great. They sound better. I could have better audio quality, but I don't think anyone listens to my podcast and says, wow, this audio is terrible. It's good enough. And that's what you need. You just need good enough, as long as it's not a distraction. So this is the ATR 2100 USB. This is the old version. I actually think they have an updated version. I think that I got mine around like 70 or 80 bucks. I went online real quick to look it up. You can find them between $74 to $81. I put 74, but literally under $100. You could buy this microphone. It's USB, so you can hook it right up to your computer. No extra gadgets necessary. If you're using a mixer or something like the Scarlett Focusrite or something like that, it is also XLR, so you can plug that directly in. So it does both. It does USB and XLR no matter what you're using. It's a great sounding microphone. For courses, it's wonderful. Now, it's not a microphone I would use if I was teaching yoga, because you have to be kind of close. This microphone's just maybe 8 inches away from my mouth. So you need like a lapel microphone or something like that. But for recording basic videos in front of your computer, this microphone is all you need. A ring light, $30 is the ring light I bought. Comes with a stand. It's got those adjustments where you can change the color. It actually comes with a phone holder inside of it. I took it out. I don't use it because I like to have the ring light off to the side and my phone straight on. I don't like that ring light in someone's eyeballs, so I don't use it that way. You can, but $30, really compact, really simple, and easy to use. And I actually got another one recently because I just wanted to have clear up some of these shadows on my face, but honestly, it's unnecessary. I don't need it. Some other things is my computer. I stated this earlier. I already had a computer. I'm using my wife's from school, like 10-year-old MacBook, works fine. Don't need anything else. My iPhone, I already had an iPhone that I was using. Headphones I've had forever. I don't know how much they were, 30 or 40 bucks, but I mean, headphones are a dime a dozen. You can use earbuds or earpods that come with your phone if you need to. And miscellaneous cables, you're going to need maybe some USB cables or, different cables to hook up your microphone or your whatever else you're using. And then coffee. You got to have coffee, right? That one's for you, Emily. So, other than the computer and the iPhone, literally like under $200. Like, you don't need to spend a lot of money. Like, I used to have the Canon, this was, 7 or 8 years ago, but I had the Canon Rebel i3. That camera alone is like a $500 camera. And like, again, I spent so much time trying to figure out the settings and make it look perfect. I spent so much time trying to perfect the video quality. I was wasting time not helping people. And so it's more important to help the people than it is to worry about all this stuff. You don't need a lot. Like, you can literally get started with very minimal things, use what you have, use some of these tips and tricks I talked about, and you will be good to go. So you can start simple with what you have. Then as you grow, you can upgrade. So yeah, I mean, like, if you like geeking out on these things and you're making like, $100,000 a month and you want to invest in your business, go for it. But if you're not making any money and you haven't gotten anyone results, start with that. Focus on the business, focus on actually helping people, and then later on upgrade. But more importantly than the equipment is a transformation your student will receive. So I've cut costs, I've dumbed down my setup, and have simultaneously increased revenue, not by buying fancier equipment, but by focusing on how I can help my students. So in this training today, you've learned why you don't need expensive equipment to get started creating online courses, how to use what you have available already to create better videos, and how to use gear that doesn't break the bank. By focusing less on the equipment and more on your students, you will have a much stronger business and can help at a high level. She says, so great to get permission to not be perfect. Yeah, it's a struggle. I think as entrepreneurs, it's our tendency, right? Like, we think big picture, like we think like every detail, because that's kind of intuitively what an entrepreneur is. We're not someone who just goes to a day job and lets people tell us what to do and we, do our thing and move on. Like, we're thinking big picture. We're trying to think through all these things. Like, what am I going to need? What am I going to need to know? What is it that I don't know? And in doing so, in that perfectionism, you get into paralysis by analysis. You're researching, you're looking things up, and you're not moving forward. You're stuck. It's great to read books, but if you're not implementing what's in these books, then there's no sense of reading books, because you don't want to get stuck in just learning. You need to learn and apply. And a lot of people are just learning and just researching and just looking up and tweaking and fiddling and moving the light here and there. Look, that's me. Like, I'm telling you, not just other people. I did this, tweaking every little sound adjustment and pixel on the screen. I had to let that go. And I had to get to a point where I said, it's okay. As long as you're getting value from what I'm telling you and you can apply what I'm telling you to grow your business, then I've done my job. And that's what's most important. So I have a question for you. Would you be interested in working with me to figure out the best production setup for your specific business and online courses? This is area that I know very well, and I've kind of told you some tips. But if you were interested in me just kind of diving into your specific business and letting you know what I think you should use based on what you're trying to do, some people are doing voiceover slides, some people are doing sitting at a desk with video, other people are teaching martial arts and yoga. You're going to need some different equipment based on different scenarios. I can help you with that. If you would like to book a call with me and discuss how I can help you in your business, you can go to onlinecourseigniter.com/book. You'll fill out a quick little application. We'll hop on a call, see if we can work together, if it's a good fit for you and for me. And if we decide that that's the case, then I can definitely help you out with your online course business in production, creation, your curriculum, the marketing, all of that good stuff. So go to onlinecourseigniter.com/book if you would like to have a chat. Other than that, let's go ahead and open it up to Q&A. I appreciate everyone coming on today live. And if you have any questions, go ahead and ask them now. I'm going to go scroll back up real quick and find this question that I told Crystal I would mention at the end here. Okay, yeah. So my struggle is my face on videos. I'm thinking of doing just the voice so I can get them done. Yeah, it's no problem. You can do that, Crystal. There have been very successful people who have done voiceover slides. Again, it's the quality. Now, the reason why you would want to get on video is just because it helps build a relationship with the person a little easier. I could totally do these trainings and not put my face on these videos at all. I could just pop on, go through these slides, and you would get very valuable information. But the reason why I show you pictures of me and show you pictures of my family and my wife and the things that I'm doing in my life is because I'm attracting my audience to me, people who look at those things and say, I like this guy. I like that he is kind of down to earth. And I like maybe that he plays music, or that he's a surfer, or that he loves his family, or that he likes to travel. And so by presenting those things, by being on camera, you will attract your people a little easier because you will build a more relationship with them. They can see you face to face. They can see how you teach and how you respond to things. So it helps in that aspect, but I don't feel like it's necessary. I've seen many people become very successful not being on camera. If you're doing something in your business that is very educational content where you don't have to be on camera. I mean, if you're teaching like how to bake or how to do yoga, it's like you have to be on camera. But if you're teaching, more educational based material, then, programming or, parenting or coding or graphic design. I mean, my first 3 courses that I sold and made like thousands of dollars on, I was never on camera. It was just me showing people how to use Canva. And I just went in there and I showed them. It wasn't until I created my GarageBand course, I was like, well, let me go ahead and do some video of me. And I went to a studio and had a friend shoot me and stuff. But I don't feel like that was necessary. It's almost a distraction because I feel like it was almost too much about myself and not about helping people, because I was so excited and I wanted to show people and talk and all that stuff. Honestly, I felt like I could have just left that out. So it's okay. You will be okay not showing your face. Now, what you could do is if you want to build a little bit of relationship, there's a couple of things you could do. One, maybe you could just show a picture of yourself in a little bio, like in the beginning. Don't spend a lot of time on it because people are interested in the result. They don't really care so much about you. Sorry to break the news to everyone out there. Like, y'all don't care so much about me as you do about how I'm helping you. And so you could maybe just show like a nice, portrait photo of yourself, a little bio, like I did at the beginning, like, hey, my name's Jeremy. Here's a picture of me. Here's a logo of my business. And this is what I'm all about. So you could do something like that. Another thing you could do is, if you didn't mind, instead of being in every video, you could do slides on all of your videos, voiceover, but then maybe the very first introduction video, you could shoot like a 2-minute video of just you, and just show people that, hey, I'm a real person. I'm the person teaching you. I'm the person helping you. And you don't have to worry about recording all those videos on camera. You could just worry about a 2-minute video, and you get real nice looking and dressed up and everything. And then shoot a quick introduction video and just say, hey, my name's Jeremy, and I'm glad you joined this course. This is my niche, and this is how I help people. And in this course, this is what you're going to learn. So let's go ahead and get started. And then quick 1 or 2 minute video introduction. They get to see you, they build a little bit of rapport, and then you can move into the slides. So I hope that helps. Yeah, it's a lot easier to do a 2-minute quick introduction video, and then they get to see you, and it'll help out. Very good. So is it best to do the voiceover mostly on PowerPoint or Camtasia? So the way that I do this is I like to record through Camtasia if you already have it. So it's funny because me and Emily were trying to discuss what would be the best way to do something. So most people don't have Camtasia or ScreenFlow and don't want to immediately spend $200 or $300 on a course that they haven't sold yet. So if you already have it, I would say go through Camtasia, because what you could do is basically what I'm doing here with Zoom. I share my screen and then I record and I talk as I'm recording and going through the slides, and Camtasia is recording the slides. Now, you could record the slides and go back and just do a voiceover over the slides. However, I don't recommend that, just because typically, like when I've done that in the past, it becomes very robotic sounding. So I did this with the Start Your First Course Challenge. I had it very scripted because there was very specific things I wanted to say in it. And I went through that process and I felt like it almost doesn't sound natural. Like these trainings, like I just have some PowerPoints and I just talk off the top of my head. And I feel like it's more engaging because I think of jokes and I'm, doing different things that I feel like really just make the flow sound a lot better. But I definitely feel like if you're going to do that, make sure that you are doing it live and not scripted or going back and recording it. But I would use Camtasia. Now, Emily and I found out that you could actually, do this through Canva. So if you create slides inside of Canva, Canva will actually let you record. You don't have as much options in there. Like they take your image and they stick it in the bottom corner in a little circle, and you can't move it around and do a lot of that editing type stuff. But if you're using Camtasia, what I would do is I would set it to record my screen, and then I would turn on the microphone and I would go through my slides, let Camtasia record the slides that is being shown as you're talking through them. In PowerPoint, is there a way to occasionally place your face on the video? I'm not sure with PowerPoint. I haven't used PowerPoint in years. Camtasia, you can record the screen and your camera at the same time. And when you get into the editor of Camtasia, you're going to have 2 video tracks. One is going to be your video of yourself, and one is going to be your recorded screen, which would be your slides, at which point you can take the video of you and move it around the screen. You can hide it at certain points. You can bring it on at certain points, and you can do a little more with it like that. Yeah, she says the problem, of course, is more personal, of wasting time with the way I look on camera. I understand. It's just like the equipment. We get so worried about our looks, about the way that we look, that we spend more time on that. Okay, so I'll tell you a funny story to answer your question here about looking on camera. Again, professional perfectionist me, like back in the day, wanted to look really, really good. And I'll tell you a little secret. So I used to go try to buy clothes that would match the branding of the course. One time I was going to create this course and I found the branding to be like this green, red, and blue color. And I went to Target and found these shirts. They were t-shirts and they matched the branding exactly. And I was so pumped up because I found these shirts. They were going to match the slides, and every video I was going to have a different shirt on and all this stuff. I never recorded the course. So I spent more time actually going and buying shirts at Target and trying to look professional than recording the actual course. Not only that, but I've been known to take my wife's, I forget what you call it, the little powder, the puff stuff that, actors use, and put it on my face and just try to look, as professional as possible. It's unnecessary. Like, I don't do it now. I mean, my hair's gelled up. I do that anyway in the morning. So I'm not sitting here trying to look, super professional. Even this video, I've got a t-shirt on. Like, I'm going to attract the people who like me for who I am, right? Like, I just feel like, just be yourself, be who you are. And there will be people who like you for who you are and people who don't like you for who you are. And that's okay. The people who don't like you can go away. You're not their audience and they can go find the person that resonates with them. But the people who see you and like you for who you are, they'll stick with you for the long term. I would not load the PowerPoint in Camtasia. So what I would do is, don't laugh at me, Emily, just because I wear makeup on camera and wear multicolored shirts. um, I wouldn't load the PowerPoint into Camtasia. You could do that as images. It's very time consuming. So what I would do is I would turn on Camtasia and I would turn on PowerPoint. And then what I would do is I would go into Camtasia and I would hit, record or whatever it's called, record screen. And then I would say, record my desktop, turn the microphone on, make sure the microphone's on. And what you're doing is you're recording your desktop. So anything you do on your desktop is going to get recorded. Once it's recording, then go open up PowerPoint and hit present. So now PowerPoint is presenting on your camera or on your screen, and Camtasia is recording that screen. So because Camtasia is recording that screen, it's recording your presentation with your voice audio. Then you go through your slides and you just talk through them, and then you hit in recording. Then it's going to bring that clip into Camtasia, and all you have to do is trim the beginning where you were like loading up PowerPoint, like you just trim it off to the beginning of your presentation and trim to the end of your presentation, just delete those ends. And then you just have the main meat of the course in the center. So what you're doing is you're recording your screen and then presenting PowerPoint, and Camtasia is recording your screen. That's what's happening now with Zoom. So I am in Zoom, I'm sharing my screen. I have Google Slides being shown on the screen. That's what you're seeing is Google Slides. And Zoom is recording as if Camtasia was recording. So Zoom's recording my screen and the screen is showing you Google Slides. So that's what I would do. You can upload the images of your PowerPoint presentation into Camtasia and then record your voice over it, but it's not going to line up. And you have to adjust all the individual PowerPoint slide files, and it takes forever. I wouldn't recommend that. I would just recommend present your information on your screen and let Camtasia record your screen. If you want to talk about this, just if you can't figure it out, just shoot me a message on Facebook and I'll help you out. So do y'all have any more questions? Or are y'all good to go? I hope this was beneficial. I hope this helped. I hope this helped squash some fears and some ideas about equipment. It doesn't have to be complicated. Don't spend a lot of time. Find an easy way to get going, get people help, get them results, sell your product, and then just reiterate, make it better and refine it as you go. Yeah, no problem. Well, thank you everyone who came on today. I do appreciate you being here. So everyone have a great week. Again, we will meet next Thursday. I appreciate it, Kristen. Thank you for being here. We will be here next Thursday at 1 p.m. I'll send out a email on Monday, letting you know what training that's going to be. If you want to join the community and give me ideas about what kind of trainings you would like to see, you can go to onlinecourseigniter.com/community. Make sure that you join our Facebook group. It's a nice little Facebook group, and you can let me know what you want to see next week. If you haven't checked out the podcast, just go to onlinecourseigniter.com, and I've got a blog up there. I've got a podcast, a lot of great resources and information for you. And it's been great talking to everyone today. I hope everyone takes care, and I will see y'all soon.